Eileen, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We'd like to just get you started off. Could you just tell our community something about who you are and why you're running?
Why am I running? I'm running because I feel like our voices haven't been heard. My name is Eileen Carter. I've grown up in politics. Some people don't know that. They're like Carter. Yes, the Carter name. I'm related to most of them. And I grew up under a giant. His name was Ken Carter. He was from Uptown, and he took down Goliaths. And I saw that. And New Orleans has a rooted history in, speaking up and kind of being our own people. We don't like to get the okey doke. And so I felt like we were getting the okey doke. I spoke up in 22. We wrote a list. You can still see it. It's online right now at nolatoya.org. And on that, it's still up there. And on that list, one of them was a French Quarter safety plan. And our leaders have been silent in 22, and they're still silent now with regards to that. So it's time to take on our Goliaths in the city of New Orleans. We have a lot of fires. If some people did not know, I did work for this administration for 3 years. So I learned how to run to the fires. I've responded to COVID. I've responded to Hard Rock. I was down there for the first 9 days. I've responded to hurricanes. I've slept on the floors of City Hall, with my air mattresses and things. I've been there. I've served. You may not have seen me because I was in the background, but I built the social media department. I was the voice of the mayor for 3 years. In the middle of the night when you were getting those alerts from 2018 to 2021, that was me and Laura Mellum. You're not getting them now, right? But we've lost a lot of institutional knowledge, and we really need to rebuild our workforce. I've been a city worker. It's a different perspective. I couldn't say a lot then, but I can say a lot as your mayor. And so we're going to take care of our people. It's time for our people to come home. It's time for us to get education together. It's time for us to love on each other. It's time for us to be neighbors, because I believe we forgot a little bit about that.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Oh, no, please. And so, just to kind of get us kicked off, let's just kind of start it off by talking about housing. Particularly around this crisis we're seeing with housing costs and short-term rentals. So, neighbors tell us illegal short-term rentals and corporate ownership are squeezing out long-term renters. You've emphasized enforcing the rules already on the books and protecting resident-hosted rentals while curbing speculators. What is your concrete enforcement plan, and how will you pair that with affordable housing production so that families can truly come home?
Number one, the rules aren't being enforced. We have a lot of that in New Orleans. If we followed the rules, then our residents wouldn't kind of be in the situation that we're in. And so I say again, look at our elected leaders. Do they deserve, a raise? And so with that being said, I believe that we can, encourage a lot of people to come out and say, hey, we need some enforcement. Who's willing to do it? I bet you'd have a line out the door who's ready to get this taken, but right? And so right, exactly. So I don't think it would be too hard. Yeah, I think we beef up enforcement. We make our residents happy. And what was the second part of your question?
What concrete plans do you have towards, both ensuring that we're making sure that short-term rentals are being enforced, but also to make sure that affordable housing is being produced?
Our Housing Trust Fund. This is actually on my website, eileencartermayor.com. So please go check me out and hold me accountable. We must bring our people home. I want to prioritize all of our people who have moved away. I don't care if it's Slidell or Seattle. Come home. Also, our essential workers. Everybody who took their time and put their lives on the line, we know what? We need to prioritize you as well. And our legacy residents, we need to prioritize those here as well. I believe we need like a tier system, and then we can talk to the housing sector and all the stakeholders. Let's bring them to the table. I'm having a 90-day reset with the state of the city, and that's part of those 90 days. We're going to bring all the stakeholders to the table, and let's create a plan together. I don't know everything, nor do I account to. So I need to hear from everybody. I believe our leaders have been leading without our 2 cents, and I want to make sure I hear from us first and then move forward.
Absolutely. It's so important. I now like to pass it over to my friend.
Okay, gentrification, right to return, and public land. You discuss a right to return registry protecting generational property and turning vacant blighted parcels into community-led affordable housing. What's your roadmap to move city-owned land quickly into permanent affordable homes? And how will legacy residents get true first rights?
Well, number one, we need to do an inventory. I mean, just like with our education, they say we have one thing and we don't. We have this. Where's the money? We need an inventory of our resources. Once we have that, then we can again, bring the stakeholders to the table. Community groups who've been doing things who have proven. We have so many people we're giving 501c3s that we're giving money to. Who's doing the real work? We need to find out who's doing the real work and make sure that they're funded correctly, because we have a lot of imbalance with regards to that in the city of New Orleans. So if we can do that and really partner and see what's blighted, what community buildings we can move into, and prioritize them with regard to need. We love downtown and things like that, but of course Algiers, Lower 9, and New Orleans East have been forgotten. I believe we need to start with those areas and kind of work our way in, because we've been doing it the opposite way, and all of our people matter.
Absolutely. On that point, in so many of those neighborhoods are where our natives have lived and thrived. And so, your platform frames a comprehensive reverse the Exodus plan.
Yes.
Housing,
I'm so
safety,
ready.
jobs, community, infrastructure. What are the first 3 action points in your first 100 days to keep legacy residents in place or to bring them back? And how will you measure whether it's actually stopping displacement in Black working class communities?
Because I want you to hold me accountable. You're going to be at the stakeholder table. That's how we're going to make it happen. I cannot be everywhere, and we know that. I'm going to have trusted partners to be there and work with me. I need you at the table. What I'm asking for is, I'm not asking for 1 vote. I'm asking for years. We cannot do this. Everybody has been trying to do it by themselves. This is going to be a community lift. So I need all the organizations around New Orleans to do the community lift with me, and that's how we're going to get it done. And I'm going to say this over and over again. We're going to put a reset on the city of New Orleans. I am the only candidate who's talking about this. There's been fires all over. Nobody's talking about it. I've been talking since 22. My dad instilled never give up. I even tattooed it on my arm. I do not give up. Y'all get rid of this lady. No, I'm going to keep talking for the people who have not felt like they've been heard, and one of which is me. And so we're here. We're going to be heard, and we're going to get these things. I have a background in compliance, so I'm very when it comes to certain things. So we're going to make a list, and we're actually going to execute it, and we're going to have milestones. And if we can't do something, we're going to say, hey, residents, this is the holdup that we've come to. These are our options. What do you think? We're going to talk to our residents. I'm big on outreach. I did the social media. We used to do teletown halls. We need to get back to that. Let's find out what's going on. I have a podcast, Faith in Politics. I stopped it right when we did the campaign, but I have a lot of information from January till now. And one of the podcasts, we did a poll, and we asked what were the top departments that you felt needed attention. And guess what? It shocked me, because it wasn't what necessarily I thought. The first one was the mayor's office. So here I am, number 17, vote for me. But then it was like the law office, and it was like parking and permits. And so we need to talk to our residents and see what's hitting them and take care of their needs, because living in New Orleans has kind of been burdensome over the years. So we need to take some of those burdens off. And of course that needs to start with housing. So let's make a plan and let's stick to it. We have been in housing for the past 4 or 5 years, maybe 4 or 5 years. And so we need to get there, make a plan, and stick to it. I mean, that's what it is, because the stakeholders are not being listened to. I do not know everything. I'm not saying I know everything, but everybody at the table does, and we're going to build a new table together.
Absolutely. As a native, this is such a crucial issue to me.
Yeah.
We have seen, if anything, most of all, the loss of our people, the loss of our intellectual property that has just been drained from us, and we can't keep going down this track.
People don't understand that. And I was having a conversation yesterday on OG Motor, so shout out to him, because Keith Carroll brought up, getting rid of the directors and bringing people new. And I'm like, we have lost institutional knowledge. And I had to show him the importance of it, because the director, and I said Parks and Parkways. He was like, get rid of them. And I was like, but what if there's a storm and all of our trees fall down? We need that institutional knowledge of how to clean our streets and get back to, productivity as quickly as possible. So we need that balance of institutional knowledge and new knowledge. And I believe that's why we need this 90-day reset, because I'm going to have everybody networking and meeting that 90 days across the city. We're going to be sick of each other. But we have to do it, because that is the only way we're going to get this done. Together, New Orleans. Together. Unite now.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so this next question is going to involve mental health and addiction services. You've pointed to expanding harm reduction, mobile outreach, recovery housing, peer-led drop-in centers, and partnership with local providers. What does the city put on the table? Funding, MOUs, facilities to scale those services, and how will 911 diverge into civil and crisis teams work on day one?
Well, let's start with the mental health. We have been neglecting our residents. This is forever, because I don't believe anyone kind of actually knew what we were in, because we were all in it together. We have been traumatized either by crime or weather in some situation, and our entire city needs a big hug. The health department has these new mobile units. Okay. I 100% believe that we need to beef them up. They need to visit our parks, our schools, and everywhere else. I have gone to some of your a meeting that y'all had, but RISE has had meetings as well. I really believe that these clubhouse these clubhouse spaces are the way to go. You feel comfortable. I've had my own situation with crime, and so I was able to share my own story there, and it was very healing for myself and my son while we were there. And so if we can multiply these around the city, I believe we can really touch people directly, convict hearts, and kind of turn hearts around. And I don't know why we don't use our Nord facilities. It's an underused source. We have Nord facilities all across the city. Of course, we need to beef them up and grow them, and I will do that with city hubs. But we can start right now. Like, think about Joe Brown and Sanchez off the top. You can do Lions. These spots, Milne, these spots have offices. During COVID, everybody worked at home, right? So why can't we have workforce development, mental health resources, reentry resources, or whatever it may be, come to our neighborhoods? Everybody doesn't have transportation. We need to use these Nord facilities. They're sitting there. Those are the community hubs I'm talking about. And while rebuilding those, guess what else we're going to rebuild? Our booster clubs and our neighborhood watches. Because when we start to rebuild these things, we build our communities. And so guess what? I'm going to pop up at all the parks. And we're going to say, hey, we're going to have booster day. Come out, and alums. We're going to have an alum day at A.L. Davis, maybe the first one. Because I've talked to some of their people out there. But let's come out, rebuild it, and because they really want a football team again. And let's do better for our community. They're our neighbors, We just got to do it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And what was the end of that question? I want to make sure I answered it, because it was a longer question.
The end of that question was, okay, so to scale those services, and how will 911 diversion to civil and crisis teams work on day one?
That's a conversation between 911, 311, NOPD, and kind of having that conversation, what that looks like on day one. And I'm not going to tell you something that I can't follow through with. So let me have a conversation with them and see what the possibilities are to work on day one, and then I'll give you the answer.
Okay,
yeah.
That's fair.
Wonderful. And shout out Rise. Shout out to Rise.
Yes.
Zeke is not in the house with us, but I'm sure she would be so thrilled to hear that. We're talking about Nord, and on that topic, youth opportunities. You have floated an Office of Education to coordinate truancy reduction, tutoring, internships, and trade pathways without running these schools. What specific programs will you launch in the first 6 months around after school, weekend, and summer? And how will you fund and track outcomes so families see real results quickly?
Well, this is funny. I currently have my friend working on this, because I plan to be your mayor. My friend is she's in another state. She's a graduate of Ursuline Academy with me, and she's finalizing her master's in this. And so she was like, Eileen, how can I help? And I said, write me a template for this. what does this look like? How does this Office of Creation, this Office of Education look like? Like, create it with me. So I'm working on it right now. She has worked in schools. I'm not going to give the city. She's worked in schools, and they were open-ended schools. You know, and so anybody could come. And she took some of her private education ideas and brought them there. So she has really revamped their entire community and city, and she's won accolades like nationally. So I'm really excited for her plan that she's writing for me right now. Give me the second part of that question as well.
Yeah, you know, what programs around after school, weekend, and summer, and how will you fund and track outcomes?
Well, let me go through our youth programming period, because I want to, like, I'm from the days of like Teen Summit and things like that. So I want education through application. I wrote a book called Faith in Politics. It's for everyone, but I really want to get our youth involved. I want them to understand how the process works. So you can go online at eileencartermayor.com, and you can sign up for my weekly blast, and you can get the PDF for free. And so what I want to teach the kids is how to get involved. So also in that, on page 77 of the PDF, is how to do business with the city of New Orleans. So we have a lot of our kids who are young entrepreneurs and creatives. You know, they want to do their brands or sell their items or do braids and hair, whatever. Well, guess what? Here's how you set up your business. Here's how you do it. When you give them the information and put it in their hands, they're creatives. Let's go back to the talent shows. I have friends that are, you know, nationally, you know, ranked in producing and music and things like that. Well, I'm going to shout him out. Shout out to Diesel, Darius Harrison. He's a New Orleans native, and he was one of the producers for the Carter. And Kenneth Brother, he's an amazing artist. You know, shout out to them. But we need, you know, people like that coming together and doing, why can't we do a New Orleans Got Talent? We can put ourselves on the map. We don't have to wait for other people. We can create our own events. And that's what I want to do around the city. Battle of Bands. Why can't we do it at Joe Brown? Why? You see what I'm saying? And then you know how our kids battle at the beginning of the parades. Yeah. Why can't we put them on display? The girls with the majorettes. Guess what? They get scholarships in music, and they get scholarships in dance too. So if we think differently, we can do differently, and we can create lots of programs for my kids. Our kids, look, my kids, they are my kids. But these are just a couple ideas. I could sit here and talk about like all of the ideas for kids programming, because it's from one end to the next. Okay, I want to talk about this one too before I let you go. Business internship program. I want a citywide one. Just to give you an idea, GNO Inc. kind of has a mini one. We need to expand it citywide. When I was blown away during IDA, the last week before we came back, the school sent an email, and it said, rising sophomores to seniors, here's a list of businesses, choose what you'd like to do. And I'm like, what? Why don't we do that? That doesn't even take money. This is coordination. The businesses need help. You could pay a stipend, not, you know, a full salary, but you could pay a stipend, put some money in this kid's pockets, and they're learning a trade. They're learning an experience. So they know, okay, I like this or I don't. So by the time you finish high school, you have 3 experiences and 3 things on your resume if you choose to participate. That's pretty good walking forward. So you know, do I want to college? Do I not? Everybody's not supposed to be going to college. We need to blow up trade in the city of New Orleans and our region. What hits us on a regular basis? Weather. We should be the best HVAC plumbers, electrical, and everything it takes to build a house. They should be coming all over the world to see how we build houses so fast. And the fact that we don't do that is like, we've kind of been negligent, in my opinion. And last but not least on this topic, I can go forever, but I really want to hit these 2 as well. Food and music. We're known for food. We're known for music. Yeah. Both of those industries are declining. Craziness. So I actually met with Mr. Shrimp. Shout out to him. I think this would be a great idea, and he does too. So whether I win or not, but I will, vote for me and we'll do this. I want to do seafood bowling at Nord as a class. Let's talk to our community, see what they want to do, partner, and then make it happen. We have all these things going on at Nord. They say, oh, we have all these things, but nobody's there. Okay, well, that means they don't want to go. And they're not interested. See what they want to do. I bet if we put a boiling class for kids, how many people? They have a line, right? And then the kids sold it, whatever they wanted to do. We could be creative. But we need to partner with our community members. Make sure our traditions are being continued, talking about legacy, and then we can build our community together. And y'all, I believe it takes a native to do all this, which is exactly why I'm running. So.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very interesting. Okay, criminal justice reform and second chances. You support fair chance hiring and stronger reentry pipelines. As mayor, will you commit to A, regular free record clearing clinics?
Yes.
B,
I'm sorry.
expanding municipal pardons for select nonviolent municipal offenses? And C, a citywide hiring target for returning residents backed by civil service reform and vendor requirements.
Where I sign. How fast you want me to sign? Is that quick enough for you?
That's
Okay, great. Next. It's non-issue. Yes.
Mhm.
Time to set the captives free.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It really is. You have people who are sitting there because they can't even get a job, and we have jobs at the city of New Orleans. We need to be the representative. We can't tell anybody else to do something that we don't do for ourselves. We need to take care of our people, all our people. Actually, I have met so many business owners who actually were formerly incarcerated, who you would have zero clue, and that's the point. Everybody deserves a restart.
Yep.
Everybody deserves a restart, and actually New Orleans does too. October 11th, y'all. We gonna do it together, for real. Unless y'all want to continue, when are we gonna get off the hamster wheel?
Mm-hmm.
If we want something different, we can't keep electing the same thing, and so you gotta choose something different. So I'm asking all New Orleanians to check their heart. We're really at a crossroads. I don't believe that we can sustain 16 years of a non-New Orleanian running our city, and that's where we are. I'm 46. I'm from here. I love my people, and that's why I speak up, and I'm gonna continue to until the Lord says I can't anymore.
Oh, that's right. Well, one of the biggest issues that we face in our wonderful city is our infrastructure. You've said that two words sum up for infrastructure: project management.
Yes.
And you proposed, as you said earlier, a 90-day state of the city with department reports. How will you change contracting timelines and public dashboards so that residents see potholes, drainage fixes, and streetlight repairs finished on schedule, especially outside of our tourist corridors that get so much attention?
Road work NOLA. It actually already exists. We can enhance it and let people know where to go. There's so much information, people just don't know that it exists. You can go on there right now, roadworknola.gov, and go see what's going in your neighborhood. I don't know if the information is up to date, but I will make sure the information is up to date, because that's really what it's all about. Our residents do not have information, and I believe honestly that the city kind of likes us ignorant sometimes, because then that's when we don't say anything. But the problem with infrastructure has been project management. During the Landry administration, they spent 1% to 2%, and then we had the mayor's administration. She thought it was going to be great to break it down. And then you had COVID, but what I found out during the recall when I was speaking to people is that there was a large, I'm gonna say who they are, a large developer who was like, Mayor, this is not gonna work because of the size of it. Maybe you can break it down once it gets to a smaller street level, but at this level we can't. And so I was like, you really told her that? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, wow, because we see, kind of what has happened. So we watched the breakdown, and it's sad, but there's not a cohesive project management system in the city of New Orleans. Let me tell you how I know why. Because when I went in, there was not a cohesive communications policy at the city of New Orleans. I created the social media department. When I went in first week, I said, let's have a meeting of all the directors of communication. They, some are like, I'm like, it had never been done before. That was 2018. That sounds crazy, right? Like Department of NOFD and libraries and NOF, we all got together and had a meeting. And so we need a lot more of that. There is not coordination. So in addition to the property management hub there, I want a group of project managers. I want a group of project managers over the entire city. Because we have so many things that are going on, they need to be managed, and they're not. I mean, just an example, Lincoln Beach. And with that example, I actually want to downsize the city The Office of Education is the only office I'm looking to create. Some of them I'm actually looking to downsize and to save money, because the Office of Sustainability and Resilience needs to be under Public Works. You know, the engineers and things that they need to move some of their projects forward are under Project Works. So why aren't they under there? Why aren't they under the Charter Department? We have I believe the system is too top heavy, and you need to bring them under things like homelessness can bring under the health department. We have a whole health department. Why not use it? The power of it. Like, I'm tired of giving $100,000 and $200,000 salaries to people who aren't from here. I will say this here. What I learned while I was there is, at one point while I was there, I was the only black woman from New Orleans on the second floor. And y'all know what that means. I was the only one able to make a decision. That should tell you something about who's running our city. Which is why I believe it's necessary for us to have a New Orleanian, especially at this time, to bring New Orleans back, to bring our institutional knowledge back, to bring some cultural and traditions, and just to build gaps and to fill things that, you know, we came back with a youth that has been driven and is engaged, which I think is amazing. I also believe there's a lot of institutional knowledge that was kind of missed when some of our organizations around the city with Bold Soul and things like that, you know, they kind of fell off. They were great and they carried this great baton, but it didn't quite pass the way that we needed it to pass. And, you know, with Katrina and everybody kind of moving around. And so I believe we need to build that up. I would love for all of the kids of the groups to work together. I am one of those children. I do speak to a couple of them around the city. I'm not going to call them out, but it's important that we bring our neighborhoods back and we do it together. It's going to be a community lift, and that's just what I'm about. So
Definitely.
Okay. This should be interesting. Recall effort and governing for everyone. You played a leading role in a recall effort against Mayor Cantrell. Some saw this as a necessary check for accountability, while other neighbors felt it pulled attention and resources away from fixing basic services and deepening divisions across the city. Looking back, what, if any, did New Orleans gain from that effort, and what do you wish you had done differently? If elected, how will you reassure residents who saw the recall as a distraction that you'll govern for everyone?
we back outside New Orleans. Do y'all remember during the recall everybody was going inside around 5 or 6 o'clock? We were the #1 murder across the United States of America. I'm not going to apologize for standing up for my people, whether you understood the situation or not, because I'm one of those people, I'm like, you know what? You will get it eventually, and I'm not going to hate on you. When you come to, hey, join the party, because this is where I am. In 22, being that I was in city government and I can see things from a certain angle and perspective, there were only 7 people working at the communications department. I was one of them handling the entire social media department. I know stuff and read stuff that New Orleanians would never know or understand. And so coming from that point, one person's opinion does not equate to 370,000 natives. Period. Ever. And I'm never going to apologize for it. I'm going to be 10 toes down for my people, always. If you don't understand, let's sit down and have a conversation. I can listen. We can, share ideas. And we may agree to disagree. I'd love to agree, find our common ground, but color is not a determining factor for me. Are you doing right by my people or not? She was not. She still isn't. We've been watching it for 3 years. We have been in an abusive relationship. I'm okay with saying that. There are times when you've been in an abusive relationship, you need to look back and see what you need to do differently. We cannot have another 8 years like this, ever. Our people have gotten the okie doke. We have been lied to by someone who's not from here. They dance in our face, and then what? They throw up all the cages around Claiborne Avenue. Do you think I would have done that? I'm not going to apologize for taking up for my people, ever. We can have a conversation about it and, have an understanding, but I'm never going to apologize for that. And I love all y'all, whether you like it or not. Yeah.
Okay.
It was necessary. Well, think about it. Do y'all remember driving around? We put up billboards that said effective crime plan win. I stood on corners for 7 months. Rain, heat, cold, popped up tents. It wasn't because I just thought it was a good idea. It's because our city needed change. And none of our elected officials were listening. None of them. Actually, let me give you an exclusive. That day was one of the hardest days, to be perfectly honest. Probably second to 9 days at the Hard Rock. I worked with this lady for 3 years. Do you think I wanted to do that? That's the first thing you want to do? No. But I love my people. And I went down there and did it. And these elected officials, I know them personally. I text 2 of them and let them know what I was doing. Why? Because I know them like that. I thought that even if it wasn't public, they would support me in some way privately. Your 2 front runners, I text them both. Ask them. They will confirm it. We see what happened. They did not speak up for us. How can I trust them to speak up in a closed door meeting for me, for you, if they did not do it then? When they had the terrorist attack, that was on the list. Guess what? I knew that the bollards didn't work. I didn't work there since 2021. So if I knew the bollards didn't work, they knew the bollards didn't work. How you act ignorant. You're the leader. Step up. Say, we are responsible for A, B, and C, and we're going to do better. We are sorry. We apologize to those families. That's what a leader does. Where are they? So, in the recall, I spoke up. I'm speaking up now, and I will speak up again. You look at us by what we've done. I speak up. Who's your Economic Development Committee chair? That's Ms. Moreno. What does economic development look like in the city of New Orleans? Who is your Criminal Justice Committee chair? That's Oliver Thomas. What does criminal justice look like in the city of New Orleans? I don't understand how you ask for a promotion when you're not doing your job, which is why I spoke out. Additionally, let's look at their council districts. Because you don't get a cookie for doing your job, you get a cookie for doing extra. So, Council District E, you have 3 representatives, 2 of which are running for mayor. How has Helena Moreno represented District E for the past 8 years? She is your at-large representative. How has Oliver Thomas represented District E for the past 4 years? He is your council member. Do they deserve a promotion? Now, each council district can ask that of Helena Moreno. She is their elected representative. When you call her with an issue and she responds and helps you, that's her job. You do not get extra for doing your job. Now, what initiatives has she expanded across the across the city for youth services? I don't know. I'm asking. I'm not putting anything on the table. I'm just saying, go look into those things. What has she done above and beyond her job? Well, when I looked at her being the chair of the Resilience and Sustainability Committee, I think a lot of people in Gentilly really would need to go look at those meetings, really need to check out those minutes, because you've been having delays for years. And so you can't just say Eugene Green. You have 2 at-large members, one who wants a promotion to be your mayor. And so I just like to give people information and say, hey, you do with it what you will. But when you vote, vote with all of the facts. Because I grew up under my dad and under, certain politicians, there's certain things I know, and, getting information may be a little bit easier for me. If you grew up under a restaurateur or a chef, you may know how to manage a kitchen. If you grew up under an engineer, you would understand that a little bit more. Well, I just grew up under a public servant, because a public servant and an elected official are 2 different things. And we need our public servants back. And so across the board, when we go to these election booths, I ask New Orleanians to check their heart. It's not about the popularity contest. It's not about, who the media says is going to be our next mayor, because who is sitting in those seats in the media? It's the editors who are deciding what they're going to post, right? So who are the editors? What are their names? Do you even know who's telling you for a certain candidate to be your mayor? Money in polls did not win in November. We saw that. And that was one side of it, right? But money in polls did not win in Baton Rouge. And that's the other side of it. So this isn't a party thing. This is a wave of America thing. And it's about to hit New Orleans. And so I'm telling you, check me out at the polls. I'm native. I'm here. I went to Holy Name of Jesus. I went to Ursuline Academy. My son went to ISL. He went to Country Day for middle school. He won a state championship at McMain in 2021. I'm from here. I'm straight out of Harrell Park. I was a park mom for 8 years, in the concession stand for 3. I'm from here. I love our kids. I love our people. And I believe I am the right person for the job right now.
Absolutely. You look at New York City, you look at some of the other elections, but their mayor election ongoing currently, and you're just seeing a deep yearning amongst the American people for public servants, for people who actually, at the bare minimum, can understand where they're coming from, know the struggles that they're dealing with, and are presenting, basic solutions that don't get in the weeds of the bureaucracy of it all, of the consultation firms, of this and
Cut
that.
the red tape. It takes too long to get a job at City Hall. I was talking to this young man. He has all the credentials in the world. 5 months waiting. Mm-hmm. Why are you waiting 5 months? We need you. Civil service, let's work it out. Like, seriously. Yeah. Let's sit at the table. What can we make to streamline this process? People need money in their pockets. We need them to work. Simple. Put them together. Like, why is it rocket science? It's not, and we can do it together. So.
Well, and so the one of the issues that you had brought up was about crime and safety in our city. Around public safety and around victim support, you talk about neighborhood-based safety substations, watch groups, youth engagement, and trauma support for victims. What does a rebalanced safety budget look like under your administration? And which community-led interventions will you fund year-round to prevent violence before it starts?
Whew. Say that first part again, because I was aiming for the second part.
What does a rebalanced safety budget look like under your administration?
I'm not trying to go give any funds to NOPD right now. I love NOPD. Y'all know I love you. But I love our NOFD and our EMS and our NOLA Ready too, because we cannot forget that we have an entire, 311 and 911, can't forget y'all. We have our whole safety group. And while our police get, I believe, a lot of love and a lot of the money and funds, we also need to make sure all of the other people at the stakeholders at the table get the same love as well. And so I would like to balance the safety budget, because I would like to think of it like that. Not all inclusive because they all have their own budget, but making sure that they're all more balanced. Let me give you an example. Right now, we don't have a volunteer coordinator for NOLA Ready. We're in a hurricane season in New Orleans. That's a problem. They need to be prioritized. Period. We have special needs personnel in the city of New Orleans who, honestly, right now, who will probably be having trouble because we don't know who and where to go because of the changes in the past couple of years with evacuees and all those other things. I personally feel like people don't know where to go. And we're going to need a hefty information campaign, especially with the weather service and things like that happening. We need to have a regional approach. I've worked with these people. We've done a lot of tabletop exercises over the years. We're just going to have to honestly beef them up with regional support and make sure everybody knows what. And we're going to have to also make sure our residents have information with regard to weather and things like that. But I want to do an education push to the city like never before. Y'all gonna be sick of me. I like information. I like to give it. Part of that would be in the Office of Education, because with our kids, they have announcements and things during the day. I believe the city of New Orleans, you should learn things about your city. And we would send out things to make sure our kids know. That would be the way that we could kind of get it home. But then through supports of groups, making sure we have partnerships to make sure we give you real and on-time information to make sure, whether it's needs or resources or whatever it may be, if we have to evacuate. That's a real thing. I went to an event with General Honore, and he said New Orleans. It was at levees.org, so shout out to them, especially with our anniversary coming up. He's like, New Orleans, if it comes time, you need to leave. And everybody was just like, we prepare more for Mardi Gras than we do for hurricane season. When he said that, everybody gasped because he was stating the profound truth to our faces. What does that say about us, though? What does that say about our leadership? What does that say about our priorities? And so when we look inside about our priorities and where our people fit, we can flip that around a little bit. And that's another reason why I'm running to be mayor. I've been there in those emergency situations, and I believe that I'm ready to, on day one, to go change that around and make it immediate. So I've slept on floors. I've been an essential worker for 3 years. I've actually stood in the eye of a storm at City Hall, literally. And so I believe I'm ready on day one.
Wonderful.
Did I answer it, or is there another piece I want to, because I know we go through pieces and I try to add.
No.
Okay.
I think you answered it. I'm going to hand it off to Donald.
Yes, state versus local control and basic services. Baton Rouge often pushes presumptions, while New Orleans just want reliable basics, permits, trash, transit, safety. As a first-time candidate who's worked inside City Hall, how would you defend home rule, build productive state partnerships, and still deliver day-to-day services without political stalemates?
Number one, I'm no party. Number two, I've already done it. I have lots of friends already there, and I'm ready on day one.
Mm-hmm.
Did that hit them all? Like, I've already done it. I was actually, when we talk about, let me give you an example, fair share. When we worked with the whole policy, I was on the communication side, clearly, with the city to push that forward. We needed a strategy to work with Baton Rouge to kind of, but it was actually with our Democratic governor, so it wasn't even a Republican type of thing. So we needed to get our fair share. So I was like, okay, let's educate our residents. Because I know how we get hype, right? Boycott Bull. So if I can give the residents information and they're now speaking up for us being the voice, and guess what? John Bell has an election. He needs us. Mm-hmm. So this can be a win-win. So we devised a strategy to educate our residents on what was going on and the percentage that we were actually getting from sales tax, and said, hey, residents, we need y'all to rah-rah with us because we're about to go to Baton Rouge to ask for ABC. Help us. And hey, John Bell, you need us to be elected. So we're going to make sure we show up if you show up for us. And as you see, that's what happened. Because they did an entire push coordinated with elected officials around the city to make sure John Bell got elected, which he did by something ridiculous, and like 90-something% in the city of New Orleans, which hadn't been done in a lot of years. But you had to go back and look at the setup for it and how it all worked together. Now, I wasn't on the policy side, I was on the communication side, so I can only take, my 2 hints from that. But working with people, looking at the entire situation and see how you can navigate it, everybody's looking for a win. Yeah. And so if you find the win for everybody, then we can move forward together. And as a region, Louisiana needs to win, so I believe we all have that as our priority. So when we focus on our people, I don't really believe I'm going to have those same problems. You're going to have people that are a little whatever, but I do find that I'm a peacemaker. People just see me as that. So, UNITY. You weren't ready for that.
That was my last question. Conclusion. Thank you for joining us. Before we wrap up, are there any last thoughts you'd like to share with our members?
I just want to thank you for taking the time to hear new voices and new ideas and not just focus on, the elected officials. It's time for change, and you can't say that unless you do something different. So I appreciate that you've given, the platform to, new voices and new people so that New Orleans can have a new start. And that's what I'm asking for. I'm asking to be your mayor and to give you a restart. And I'm asking to do it together. I do not ask for one day. If you're going to be a one-day voter, I'm not your person. I'm asking for a partnership for 4 years. I know we can do it. I have partnerships and friendships in the business community. I have partnerships and friendships throughout the community, from Treme to New Orleans East to the Ninth Ward to Algiers. And I'm ready. I love New Orleans. I don't give up. Y'all know that. I will speak up for you in those closed doors meetings, and you will make sure, and I will make sure that your voices are heard. I run to fires. That's what I've been trained to do, and I'm ready to do it. So please vote for me. Check me out, number 17, Eileen Carter, Mayor. I'm ready.
Oh, thank you.
Eileen,
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Y'all heard it. Stay informed, stay educated, and you know what?
Yeah.
Run for office.
Yes.
Thank you, Eileen.
Thank you.